Gertrude Stein, Curie of the laboratory of vocabulary. She crushed the tonnage of consciousness, congealed phrases to extract a radium of the word.
The most important thing that I learned was poems don't have to rhyme. They can be just pulled from a thought.
Congealed to phrase to extract a radium. Yeah, of the word. I really like it. It was a fun project to do, and I'm going to go home, and it's something to discuss with my parents and everything at dinner table.
Look at these words, tonnage. You don't know what that word means? No. It's like heavy, it's weight. They talk about tons and tonnage.
Poetry is important for me because it's a way that I can let out my emotions in a way that nobody else can do it for me.
Consciousness? We can't quantify it, right?
Poetry, it's important because sometimes when I'm angry, I can go upstairs and write a poem about it. But it's important because you can express your feelings in a poem. You know how to express your feelings.
What is it to do? What is it when you compare one thing that's not like something else?
There's thousands of different ways you can just look at one thing.
And graphs are a way of making a picture out of things that are basically abstract.
I think the purpose was to let out what we felt inside and try to put it into a picture and words in a poem.
As we're working on photography and poetry, that's something that I want you to keep in mind, and we're going to keep reminding you, is that we're doing writing with light. And when you're writing poems, you're also going to be thinking about images and pictures. And when you're taking photographs, you're also thinking about how those photographs can communicate, how photography can be a kind of writing. A photographer, though, is someone that studies light and is alert and pays attention to it and recognizes it when light is going to create a memorable image.
I thought it was just a picture, but there's actually feelings and, it always means something. Photography means something, and I didn't know that before.
Poetry has form. Photography has form. It's a sort of a use of elements constructed to make something, which would be a formation. This is a body that it will crawl out of and it leave a sort of brown carcass on the ground. I mean, that is a very clear transformation. And it's sort of these remnants of an earlier stage of it.
These 8 words represent 8 of the building blocks of photography, and I'm going to show you examples of how they show up in pictures. These lines, remember this picture? Yeah. These lines we would think of as being very organic lines. In photographs, maybe you don't always want to take pictures that are just of patterns, but if you see something that has really interesting patterns, something that's repeating over and over again, that's something that will make our eyes interested. And it's part of the game that you're playing with photographers is how to make the human eye be interested in.
I didn't think I could write a poem out of a picture that I didn't think I could take.
Well, why not?
Because I guess I never tried it until this happened.
Oh, I see it!
Yeah.
I think I know.
It has patterns.
It does have patterns. It has a lot of things that we've been looking at. Look at places you pass by every day and see if maybe there's some potential in there to really create interesting photographs that are about your life and your perspective. It's through the way that we take the world and we decide a part of it that we want to show or create or change or turn into art and expression. That's a kind of transformation. Poets do it with line and language and the form and the way things are arranged on a page and the meaning of words. And artists do it with pictures, photographers do it with light. Put your name on there. And this says how to make each photograph a work of art. So go ahead and fill in what our theme is. Silly snapshots are ones that are usually taken really quickly and they're, what's that?
Not thought out.
Yeah, they're not thought out. Perspective, texture, space, light, pattern, balance. Some pictures don't have really strong lines. Only some pictures really have really distinct, vivid textures. But all photographs have a perspective to them. And often it's pictures taken from eye level looking out. And those pictures are fine, but I want you to think about all the other ways of creating perspective. So each one has a person's name on it, so make sure each person gets their camera. So when you get these cameras, I want you to carefully look over them. And one of the other things is to find a piece that you're not using. But I'm sure that you'll find it. Sometimes it's intimidating, but it's called the viewfinder. So this is a window that tells you how the picture is framed, how the picture is going to look when it hits your film. It doesn't show you the lightness of the film. Like, it doesn't show you how light or dark the picture is going to be. It just shows you the framing. Not all of your pictures are going to look the way that you're expecting them to, but some of your pictures, you'll be surprised at the quality of them, and part of that is because of the lens that's built into this camera. I recommend holding the camera like this, so that you're not using your hand to hold it across the front at all, that your hands are always to the side and back on the camera.
Yeah, not good? Okay, good. Okay. So all that, we're going to the picture in front of us.
This reminds me of slaves.
You take out a piece of paper. You're going to try your hand, your own I remember poem.
Put yourself in the perspective of the person.
Sort of a beautiful move like that, right? So like the gentle like twisting of the hand. It's kind of like this, like one person like. Okay, now I got nauseous. Why is that?
Because it was on the ground?
Yeah, because there's like these like. There's something He talks about things that people don't talk about, and so he makes it sort of like not shameful anymore. And like she's poor, so she can't say that she has.
I remember when my son ran away because we didn't have money. I remember him telling me he was going to get a job himself. I remember the last words he said to me, "I wish I wasn't here."
As I head forward towards the back of the bus, as I see a group of black kids getting blasted off by the skin of water.
There are people moving through this poem. There are kids, there are police. This is like a community in like true strife here too. It's very good.
I remember walking in the park. I remember you showing me off to everyone. I remember you reminisce on the past and always being that one to make me laugh. I remember.
She's definitely looking back at somebody, the photographer, but you've created a relationship between the photographer and that face. So it's not a transparent, invisible kind of effect. That's great. Usually when we think of a memory, it's something we retain. So the flower pot breaks, leaving shards, but the memories are retained. But this is saying the memory is smashed. It's gone. If you can jot down the natural elements that are in these images. Water, wind, sometimes sun. She looks like someone who is lamenting something. She's lost something.
I think she's like looking back, like, you know, like when you're leaving your house, like, you know how you look back and then you run away?
Give me 3 words that you sort of spring to mind when you look at this picture. Give me 1 emotional word.
When people think of graveyards, they think about death and sorrow. I, on the other hand, think about honor and success. Rows of flowers leading to the bodies we all remember.
Leaving the church after the ceremonies, we all have tears raining down our little faces when in reality we should be leaving with smiles, for they're all looking down on us.
Thank you.
And what you two did was you made 2 voices. And so when you say we, it really has a we. It performs it.
But sooner or later, those things fade away as you pass by it every day. You might not notice it's turning gray.
After years of all the pain and sorrow of no one caring, I'm finally dying off. But sooner or later, I will be loved again by those who will write with me.
Words, the world just calm and alone.
It says toward word.
Beautiful. Totally. What both of you did, Lauren and Jalissa, is pick up on the mood that's in that picture. When you get your photographs back, definitely pay attention to what's in the pictures, but look at it as a whole, as an object that makes you feel something.
A lot of times when you're choosing a picture for your Writing with Light project, you're going to find a picture that's your favorite picture, but that picture is not always going to be the best one for inspiring writing. You're going to start out by putting away the ones that just no one thinks would be a very good choice.
Okay, we're picking this one.
Not the piece one.
So,
We're doing that one?
yeah, just get it out of the way so it's not distracting.
The shadow's underneath you, not on top. Can you like this one?
They cut some of the tree off and put that there. Yeah, that is a sign.
So now we're down to 4 over there, right?
Yeah.
Put those in the folder. Why did we select this one?
It's not that there's like a right or wrong answer out of all of this, but there are kind of better and worse choices, and this might be one of the better choices.
Yeah, but it could be a foggy day.
So, I would keep this one in the running.
It's really light. There's not a lot of shadow.
It's pretty similar.
But that was like really dark.
It's like similar too.
And then this one that has equal amount of light and shadow.
You're going to get an envelope, and inside is a stack of prints, and the first thing you're going to do is just go through and look at and enjoy the prints because they're all yours, you made them. And then you're going to start thinking about, okay, so this is a good looking photo, but can it inspire me to create and to write?
My dad and my sister. Or that's my dad.
No, I'm scared. I don't know if but yeah, this is my
Picture I chose was of my cousin and my little sister sitting next to each other and eating.
Oh, like across from each other?
Yeah, from like a bird's eye view.
Why did you choose that one out of all the others?
I chose it because like I could relate more to it, and like it was my family and I feel for them. My favorite line for my poem is the part where I said, "This could be destiny."
And why is that your favorite?
Because the two children are next to each other. You can feel like the love hitting them when they're sitting next to each other, eating and talking.
Because this one has a lot of empty wall on the side. Both of these are better.
These are mine.
Which ones do you like?
It looks like there's movement, right? Because you got a little bit of blur there. Yeah. No, I like that too.
Want to see my phone? I like that one. You want to do that one?
Which one's more interesting to your eyes? Yeah. See if this feels like it fits some of that. Okay.
I think that this might be a bit of a problem. It's a bit too close.
Can you think of other ways of interpreting this besides what people thought was obvious?
Yes. I can.
Really?
Yeah, you want to hear it? My picture was a girl, my sister, sitting on the swing with her back turned. And I took a picture of her behind, and she was like looking out to, like there's trees and it was in the park. If I photographed her from the front, she would be looking at the camera. And now I have like this like question, what is she looking at?
What you'll find in these envelopes as you now open them and dump them on your desk and begin to write a poem of your own. Try to write what you want to say. Write something that matters to you with what you find. Are there words you can't figure out where she would put them? That's fine. The trouble sort of associates with that is a very powerful cultural statement. That's great. And I like how you pulled round and round, turning blurs. And then there's something also about tucked away, living their quiet lives. No need of us. Trees growing up, out, around. They'll pass in and through.
I think I was sad because like there was a good reflection there, and then when it started raining, like it started messing.
Distorted.
Yeah, that's a good word to use in there. You know, hundreds of miles apart or a block away. Chattering, and no one can hear it no matter what. Let's pump up this. Darker.
The waves are dimming as the sun sets into the sea.
Enjoy it.
The waves are dimming as the sun sets into the sea.
November wind, something like that. But also, I want you to like get you in here too, because like this is the cool thing about Clifton, is that there's descriptions of something, but it's very personal too.
I get out my window to see the world. The window is a reflection of it.
Yeah, this is good. I look out my window to see the world.
Final poem I wrote in class was about it was about me in the picture, and it was my little cousin, and I was holding his hand, and he's kind of looking like off to the side. It's kind of mysterious because you don't know what he's looking at in the picture. You can't really tell what he's looking at. So in my poem I describe like maybe like what is he looking at, like maybe he's looking at a lake, maybe he's looking at the past or the future, since he's a baby and like I'm old enough, so like I don't want to let him go, but I know that I have to because he has to find out the world by himself.
When I look out my window to see the world, the window is the reflection I show. So it just repeats itself back. It repeats.
When you sprout, it takes time. You have control of where you go. Just go with it. The way you move and the way you grow into the world. Things get in your way, you either go over or under.
Total contradictions, but it opens up the whole a different view, of the word, and a lot of things that you talked about today were a lot of opposites.
Yeah.
So it kind of brings out the picture itself. Very clever, very, very clever.
He would sit in his office, typing on a typewriter, hammering away, boom, 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 listening to this stuff incessantly. And what he realized is that it's freeing. In the way that jazz breaks away from measures and rules. Today, to the music of Miles Davis, you are going to write a poem. Based on your photographs, this poem, figure out which one of the five senses kind of pulls you into your picture. Let this music inspire you to write. And Blake really broke his lines, how his ideas didn't just end at the end of each line. He let them tense and break and pause.
Write another poem about your sense of
Freely line break. Break a thought into its pieces. Through the trickly forest. And that's sort of a sense of like our passage through a forest is movement, not in clear directions, but movements like this, like trickling water. Great. Good. Somebody else.
Yeah, do you have to like hold the picture?
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Lauren's picture is sort of a moist foreground, rain, something, and some power lines.
The rain washes away my memory of sunshine, my memories of us together last summer, my memories of clear skies before you left. The rain is where I can hide my tears.
I wrote about trying to look at above and beyond your limits and trying to look and do what others think you cannot do. You are holding on for dear life, for the soon a moment will pass. Look up to that atmosphere and breathe the aroma that's around you and embrace it forever. It was an emotion of peace, and it really showed how sometimes we like to be alone and do things on our own.
Calling for help, needing and wanting, very unsure. The precious nature is going unappreciated. I wonder what time has cost.
It was very helpful. I think it took me a huge step further. Like, I really feel comfortable in myself about poetry and taking images. Like, I can do that at home all the time now, because usually when I'm taking images, Joe will help me because I take it from the same perspective and it'll be boring, but over, it's way better. I really appreciate it.
I'm being hit by a sunbeam. I'm wearing my hat proud because I'm repping my baseball team. I'm the top of my team. I have the highest ranks. Manny, you're home. Oh, Jesus, thanks.
And that will join the long and proud tradition of baseball poems. Awesome. Thank you. When someone says revision, what does that usually suggest to you?
Wait, what?
Yeah, do-over. Changing things is a process of playing with pattern, playing with image, looking again at something. When we want to indicate a line break, we'll draw a mark like this on the page. I am already half dead. That's very cool. And then you have wishing, next line, that I had leave keep me warm. I am, yeah, trust my code, yep. Already half dead, wishing. Yeah, watching, but okay,
But nobody knows, because you have to think about it. Nobody knows if I'm talking about the birds or I'm talking about the boat or even the waves.
I see. What if you cut out some? How would that sound?
What?
In the sight of an eye, by a bird, from a place where people can imagine they'd be. Get the rhythm work?
Wait, truly what?
I soar around trying to find me. I look at the reflection of me. My white fluffy feathers fall beneath one another.
It wants to be loved. To hear its beauty seems unwanted, unnoticed, unappreciated. Can't ask for much, but it shows what it desires. What more can it ask?
Young him and older her may be looking at the past of the future. Can you see the grayness come shower over the two? She's holding on to him. She doesn't want to let go. Big auntie and young nephew.
The rain washes away my memory of sunshine, my memories of us together last summer, my memories of clear skies before you left. The rain is where I had my tears. My favorite line was rough symmetrical substance, feeling through the trickly forest. It's because Margaret was helping me. She said it was two different words and you're bringing them together. Rough and symmetrical substance, trickly forest. And it gave your mouth like a little water and tingle inside of it. Rough symmetrical substances, feeling through the trickly forest, soft as baby, even crying inside to get their feelings out. Can't hear a sound. What was that? Say it again. You're hiding away in the curling flower. Hide the truth, scared of what you think of. It feels like I'm looking at myself through someone else's eyes. There's a million of those trees in the world, but not all of them are like me, because I may be an ant, but I feel like a giant. Yeah. We got to take the photos ourselves. It was our photos. It wasn't anybody else's work. It was our own work. And then we got to do our own poetry, our own meanings of it. And it was nobody else. It had nothing to do with anybody else but ours.
As you can imagine, this little get-together has something to do with the Writing with Light project that you guys worked so hard on. Believe it or not, I've had an opportunity to look at all of your poems, and I'm just amazed at what's actually come together because of this project. The writing that you guys have displayed, I think, is far more than you ever probably thought you could have done. And the purpose and the meaning behind what it is that you actually displayed was incredible.
No. I know you're a good reader.
The craft leaves me open to absorb, to make a puddle for the rain I adore. I look out my window to see the world. The window is the reflection I show.
Spirits flow from the top of their heads to the soles of their feet. As the choir lifts their voices to the heavens, the preacher sends out his blessings. We say our last prayer. We leave our empty chairs.
As the sunlight bends and forms, the mid-morning raindrops reflect its personality. Physics, nature, miracles, all one and the same.
We thought we saw, but did we really? Walking from here to there, who knew where we'd be today. Our steps were small, though we took many strokes, palm in palm, foot by foot.
My body is so weak I can barely stand on my feet. As I pass my street, my sorrows grow deep. My eyes begin to water when I think of my daughter. The world weighs so much, and me with no luck. I try not to cry, but my emotions fly.
Pursuit of happiness. Freedom isn't free, but it should be. I sit with tears in my eyes. I wonder how all these men died. So many have died for us. To keep us safe, it was a must.
That look in his eyes, shining, shimmering. He's not just looking at something, he's looking at everything. We need to give a big round of applause and thank you to Margaret, Joel, Morgan,